Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, Crystal Heart. My name is Crystal and today I'm going to be showing you everything that I've made in 2022. Alright y'all, before we get all the way into this video, don't forget to leave a like, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell for notifications so you can know whenever I post. Also, don't forget to go into my description box and hit my link where you can see my Instagram, my Etsy shop, my TikTok, which I am trying to build up a following on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, go ahead and follow me on TikTok. So today is Wednesday, is the last Wednesday of the year, I think. And it's supposed to be a what's under my needle video, but because I haven't really been doing a whole lot, we're going to go ahead and talk about everything that I've made in the year of 2022. And we're just going to have like a whole flashback. I'm going to show pictures of everything. And if you haven't seen any of these pictures, that means that you're not following me on Instagram. So you need to click that link below and follow me on Instagram. Some of these pictures will be of cross-stitch stuff. Some will be of quilts, but it's gonna just be everything that I've made and posted to Instagram in the past year. And I'm gonna give as much information as I can on why I made it. Whatever I can think of to tell you guys about, I will do. So this video may or may not be a little long. Y'all know before I do because y'all can see how long it is, but I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about everything. Okay, and before I show y'all the first thing, I want y'all to let me know, what have y'all been sewing or doing over the holidays? How was your holiday? Did you enjoy it? Did you have family over? Just let me know the rundown in the comment section. I read all comments. I try to reply to all of them. If I don't, then I always will leave a little heart next to it to let you know that I did read it. But my holiday was great. I did get a quilt finished for my dad, which y'all will see at the very end of this video. But just let me know about your holidays. So the very first thing that I finished in 2022 was a cross-stitch project. My Heart Is Yours is the name of the chart, from Luminous Fiber Arts. Luminous Fiber Arts, look her up if you don't know about her. She has a channel. She's on Instagram, but she puts out a lot of charts. And she has a whole series of these monochromatic charts, and I love them, and I've been doing them over the past year or two. But this was one that I actually fully finished. It was a small one, and it's called My Heart Is Yours. I should have a picture of it here. It has the two little birds in the heart, and it says love, and I put 2014 to resemble the year that me and my husband got married. And I dyed the fabric this pink color with red dye, and I think I used like 816, possibly DMC 816 or 815 for the thread. I don't know, it was a long time ago. And someone finished it the way that she finished hers, her model, and she was selling kits at the time. So I used a lace ribbon for the trim, and some type of solid red fabric for the little side piece you can see, and then some little wooden buttons that I had, and a little heart charm. And that was it. That was my first finish of the year. It was cross stitch, and I think it was so cute. Loved it. That was that. The next finish that I had in 2022 was January 13th, I think, and I finished what we call our car quilt. I should have pictures of this up here. This was the homecoming pattern from Lo and Behold Stitchery. And I started this in 2021, maybe even 2020. I don't remember, but I didn't finish it until 2022 this year. And it was one of the very first quilts that I actually made, the quilt top, the first quilt top that I made. So the fabric was a cotton poly blend, and I didn't know any better at the time that I much rather sew with 100% cotton. So Once I realized that cotton poly blend was just not what's up, I really didn't finish the quilt, so I kind of just put it off to the side. Then I decided, I think I want to finish this quilt, so I went ahead and finished it. For the backing, I used this tropical fabric. I love this fabric. I don't remember if I got it from Hobby Lobby or Joann's, but I love that fabric. So I decided to back it in that, use orange as the binding, and then I also did big stitch quilting across the whole quilt, and I also did a big stitch binding. So everything was hand quilted, hand binded, although I always attach the front of my binding with the machine and then I hand close it. The colors were just really bright and vibrant. I thought it was really cute. I made a matching pillow. I should have a picture of that too. A matching pillow, and then that's the quilt that we keep in the car for the kids if they get cold, and the little pillow to match it. So that's that about that. Also, I completely forgot that that fabric that I used for the backing, I have that fabric listed in my Etsy shop. I loved it so much that I bought a whole bunch more and decided to add it to my Etsy shop because I think that everybody would love this fabric. Matter of fact, it's up here. This is where I store. So if you do love the fabric, I should have a few yards of it left in my Etsy shop. So head over there and grab it. The next project that I finished was a cross stitch. It's my January monthly cross stitch. I have one of these for each of the months of the year. So in January, I finished this one. I've spoken about these charts on my floss tube videos that I've done. It's from the Etsy seller, Ballerina. I don't remember. Okay, I can't find her name, but I'll post it down here whenever I do find it while I'm editing. But I've bought every month of the year that she has. I'm saying she, I think it's a she, that they have. And I've made all of them. I haven't finished them all, but in January of this year, I did finish the January. The next finish that I had at the end of January was a quilt, and it was a gift for my mother-in-law for her birthday. It was a Pioneer Woman fabric quilt. She loves Pioneer Woman, so I decided to make her a quilt from the Pioneer Woman fabric line from Walmart. So I didn't have a specific pattern that I was following. I just did churn dash and the square in a square. I'm not quite sure if there's a name for that, but I kind of just made it up, picked the fabrics and put it together. I did do some hand quilting, big stitch quilting for all of the middle part, but on the borders, I did free motion meandering quilting on the borders, and then I closed the binding by hand. And the backing for this quilt was just a fabric that I found somewhere that I thought matched really well, and the binding was Pioneer Woman, I believe. So she loves her quilt. She keeps it on her bed, and I actually love making this quilt. I'm not a big Pioneer Woman fan. I'm not a big fan of the fabrics for my own house, but as a whole, I love making this quilt, and I really love the way it came out, especially making a quilt without following a pattern. Okay, the next finish that I had in 2022 was at the beginning of February, and it was also a quilt, another quilt that I really loved, that I was really proud of. My husband's close friend and his girlfriend had a baby, and we wanted to give him a gift. And actually, I think my husband may have promised him a quilt before asking me. But anyway, nevertheless, I made the baby a quilt, and the pattern, it was kind of a mesh of my own thing and something that I saw on Instagram. I saw a pattern on Instagram for like a mini quilt, and I do not remember the pattern maker. When you see the quilt, you may recognize the pattern. I'm not sure. But I looked at the pattern and I kind of already knew how to make it, but I needed it in a bigger size. So I kind of redid it in a bigger size for my own quilt. So it's a star quilt. You can see here with kind of like you can see the colors are alternating. I don't know how to explain it. But anyway, so I did that. I put the border on it, and I thought that the quilt can either go either way for a boy or a girl, even though there's pink and purple, but I thought it could go either way. But the baby was a girl. I did straight stitch quilting on my machine because I believe I was kind of like it needed to get done, so I didn't have time to do hand quilting, even though I think I could have did some cute hand quilting on this. But I did straight stitch quilting on the machine, just some lines across. The backing was just some fabric that I had in my stash, and yeah, and then the binding, something I had in my stash, I don't remember, but I thought the quilt came out so cute. I love the quilt, the color combination. I love how it came out. And I did an embroidered name label. When I make a quilt for a baby, I like to put their name on it, so I did a embroidered name label, got the quilt off. They love it, and I love making it. So that was that finish. Okay, some other things that I did in 2022 was I tried my hand at doing some quilt testing. I put my name in the hat and applied to a few pattern makers to test quilts, and I actually did a few of those. So my next finish was, I never fully finished this quilt, but I did finish the quilt top, and it was for a quilt test, and I absolutely love this quilt. And the name of the quilt pattern was Clockwise, or is Clockwise, by the Dandy Patch. She has some awesome stuff out there. When I do quilt testing, I kind of like to play with the colors and just choose fun colors for the patterns, mostly because the quilts aren't like something that I'm gifting for someone and I need it to be the colors that they love. Actually, I have done a quilt test quilt pattern where I had to do that, but for this one, it was just whatever the hell I wanted to do. I picked the pattern, the fabrics, just what I liked. So I did go into my stash. I had some Ruby Star Society fabric that I got in a mystery bag, I think, or whatever, from Fat Quarter Shop. So I chose Ruby Star Society Pearl line. I don't remember the name of it, but y'all can see it here. So the colors were like orange and green. I got this like light blue background. I don't know. The colors were wild. I loved it. The pattern was awesome. I actually made this top right before I was headed out on a cruise or a trip or somewhere, and I messed up and did not realize it. So after I took the pictures, and I had already left for my trip, so, and it was the deadline, so I had to post the pictures with the mess up, and I had to email her and let her know, look, I messed it up, I'll fix it when I get back. But it ended up being just like a really real quilt test showing. So when I got back, I fixed it and posted new pictures, but that's that. Anyway, I love that pattern and I love that quilt top. I need to finish it. I just have so much other things going on. But anyway, that was the next finish that I did in 2022. And I think that was towards the end of February. Okay, so the next quilt top that I finished was also a pattern test. And I did this in April, somewhere in April. And it was from Pot Cake and Company. Look her up on Instagram. The name of this quilt was Pop Blossoms, is Pop Blossoms. And this is another one where I just picked some colors that I really liked, and I love the way this quilt came out. I love this pattern, y'all. This pattern was so cute and so versatile. You can use any color combination. It's like modern but classic. I love this pattern. I think in this pattern, I think the fabrics that I use in this pattern may have also been Ruby Star Society. I kind of went with a maroon, green, blues. It was just wild colors that you probably normally would not put together with orange, and I put it together and it came. I love that color combination. So I made the baby size quilt for this pattern test. It is a pattern that I would go back to to make quilts for anybody, really, to make bigger sizes as well. So I never actually finished this baby quilt. I still have the top. When the next baby is born, I'll finish it and gift it to them. But I love this pattern. And yeah, look her up. Pot Cake and Company. So the next quilt that I finished was actually the quilt for my oldest daughter, Cam. If y'all are ever in my lives on Fridays, y'all see Cam is always in the comment section. But the journey with making Cam's first quilt, the first quilt that I've made for her, it was a journey. The first quilt that we picked was a Tula Pink, I think it was Tula Pink pattern. I think it was Tula Pink. It was Free Bird for sure. But the pattern were these hearts. I think it was called floating hearts. That pattern was taking me forever. I started doing it. I might have pictures of some of the blocks. She wanted a fully like gray, white, black type quilt. She wanted it just kind of like monotone. She didn't want any colorfulness on it. So I started making these hearts. It was taking forever. And I really just didn't want to do it anymore. So I asked her, I said, can we just pick something else? Because I don't like this. And she was like, sure, whatever. So we had kind of been going through looking for new patterns and really hadn't found anything. Well, there's a quilt shop in the area who was closing down and they were having sales. So we went there and they had a quilt kit of the looper quilt. So my daughter saw it and she was like, "Oh, I like that quilt." So I'm like, okay, but it was the kit was colorful and that's not what she wanted. So when I got home, I looked up the looper pattern, found the looper pattern, bought it, and decided to make it for her. So this is the pattern that we came up with. It's all gray, black, white. She loves it. I try to get different little fabrics in there, some little Mickey Mouse fabrics, she picked most of these fabrics. So she loved it. And this was the first quilt that I did with rounded edges. I love that. And it's, matter of fact, the only quilt that I think I've done with rounded edges. I need to do another one like that. So we rounded out the edges to kind of go with the looper curvy style. We loved it. She loved it. I backed it with a flannel, I think polka dot, a gray flannel polka dot. She loves the softness of the flannel. She really wanted minky, but I was like, I'm not doing minky. No, not doing minky. So we picked a soft flannel and she loves the quilt. It's on her bed. Also for that quilt, I did some straight line quilting on the machine. And I kind of started off where it was small and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then on the curved part, I did big stitch hand quilting on that part. So I kind of combined the hand quilting with the machine quilting. I love the way the quilting came out on this quilt. Okay, so the next thing that I finished was also a quilt. It was a quilt test pattern that I did, but I also needed a quilt for my best friend's son's graduation gift. So I decided that I'm gonna go ahead and use the colors that he likes in this quilt test pattern that I needed to get done by a certain time. And that way it can all, you know, be together, kill two birds with one stone. This pattern was by Quiltberry Hill Designs. Look her up on Instagram as well. And it used a little improv piecing with, you know, pattern piecing. So it was really fun. And his favorite colors were blue and black. So I kind of did blue, black, gray. And I did some improv with those colors. And then some pieces I didn't do improv. I did the solid colors with. And it was an interesting pattern. I did enjoy it. It was different. It was different, which I appreciate. So I used some grunge fabric and then some other stuff I just had in my stash. I pieced it together. For the backing, I used more of the flannel. The same thing that I used for my daughter's backing, I used for this backing. It was a gray polka dot type of, it's polka dot, but it's kind of grungy looking. But I used that for the backing. Actually, I was on the binding when it was time for graduation. So I actually finished hand binding it while visiting them for graduation. But I did some hand stitch quilting for this quilt too. I just love big stitch quilting. I love hand quilting. It's just my thing. Any chance that I can get to do that, I definitely will do that. The next quilt that I finished was actually one of my very few quilts that I finished from a Sew Sampler box. So this was a Lori Holt fabric, a box with Lori Holt fabric in it. The pattern was called Buzz. It was a fat quarter shop pattern. And the fabric collection that was in the box was called Plaids from Lori Holt. So I finished that quilt. I just thought it was super cute, so I wanted to do it. I actually did some big stitch hand quilting on this one. I used a white, the white confetti from Riley Blake as the background. Is something that I already had in my stash as the background fabric, and it came out really cute. I did it as it was shown in the pattern. I didn't really change too much of anything. That quilt is actually for sale in my Etsy shop, link below. It's a baby size quilt, and I really love that quilt pattern. I'm happy that I did it. So that was my next finish. The next finish that I did was also a baby size quilt. I have been wanting to do full cloth quilts for a while. I've had the the double gauze fabric for a long time, wanting to do it, but I hadn't done it. So I decided to just go ahead and do it. So I took 2 pieces of double gauze fabric, a cream colored piece and like a corally colored piece, and I did some hand quilting. I didn't put any batting in the middle. I layered the double gauze or some muslin or something in the middle, but hand stitch some straight lines across in a design, binded it with, I think, like muslin, and that was that. And it's real light and airy and something that you can like swaddle a baby in. That's what I was going for. So that is also listed in my Etsy shop. One thing I can say is that I only have a couple of quilts in blankets listed in my Etsy shop, but they have not sold. So hopefully, eventually they'll sell. Okay, so the next thing that I finished was a quilt top. So this pattern came from a Sew Sampler box. I'm gonna try to enter the information here because I don't remember and I don't have it handy, but I kind of just modified the pattern and used the fabric that was in the box because I love this fabric, the yellows, the blacks, the whites, the grays. So I used those fabrics. It was a table runner, I think, pattern, but I used the fabrics to kind of make the table runner, but then I added this dark gray with black polka dot fabrics around as like a border. And this quilt is the quilt that I made for my bed. So this is the biggest quilt that I've made to date. It's a queen size quilt. I'm still in the process of hand quilting this because it's taking me forever, but I finished the top. I'm hand quilting it. The back is just a plain gray fabric, solid gray. And that's that. It's taking me forever because this quilt is huge, and I decided that I wanted to hand quilt like this circular design on it. I don't know why I thought to do this, and I should have just did something machine quilted because I'm still working on it. As a matter of fact, I was working on it this morning. I'm ready to be done with it so that we could put it on our bed. I'm thinking in the midst of all of these quilts that I've been finishing all year that there are some more of the monthly stitching that I've finished that I may have just not documented and posted pictures of, but I'm pretty sure that I finished more this year than what I posted. But anyway, the next thing that I finished was not a quilt. It was actually a bag that I did for my daughter, for her dance bag, my youngest daughter, Kamani. I wanted to try foundation paper piecing for the first time. So I went on Etsy and I found a pattern. Once again, I do not remember the pattern maker's name. I will look for it so I can put it on the screen somewhere. But it was of the little ballerina feet doing a little, you know, point. And so I did, it was just for a block, but I knew I was going to use the block to make the bag. So I did the foundation paper piecing, and I'll post right here the first one that I did. Horrible. So then I did it again and it came out better. Not great, but better, but it was good enough. So then I made a little tote bag, just basic bag. I'm not a bag maker, so this was just a little basic tote bag with 2 straps. And then I embroidered her name and put that on the bottom of the bag. I embroidered it just on regular fabric and, you know, pieced it into the bag. So the bag, and I think I put batting between the front and the lining of the bag. I don't know. The bag did not come out super great, but it was good enough to carry her little dance shoes for her to go to dancing. And she loves the bag, so that's all that matters. But it was not my best make, clearly. Okay, so the next thing that I made is really near and dear to my heart. Y'all know that this year I had a goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers, and I did a series where I was like posting videos trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. It took a minute, but obviously we got there, and I was just so excited. There's another YouTuber named Moonkin Stitchery, and when she hit 1,000 subscribers and I think 5,000 subscribers, she made these YouTube play button, quilted YouTube play buttons. And when I saw that, I was like, I gotta do this for my 1,000 subscribers. I didn't make a video on it because that's her thing. She has a video on that. If you want to see, check out her channel though. I haven't seen any recent videos, but maybe I'm just missing them. But she has awesome videos. But I decided to make a YouTube play button. So I did that with some fabrics that I just had, white and red fabrics that I had in my stash. The white fabric was a glitter fabric from Walmart. Do not buy that fabric, y'all. Do not buy it. You can't put heat on this fabric without the glitter just kind of like beating up. And I used that fabric again, and I'll tell y'all in the next finish, I think it is. I'll tell y'all about that. But for this project, it was fine because it was just a small play button. I do have it on my wall. It's behind this, but y'all can see it up there, kind of. But yeah, so I used that, some red that I had in my stash, and I did applique method with that. Basically, if you want to see how I did it, look at Moonkin Stitchery's video, because I really just did what she did. But that was awesome. I think I'll make another one when I hit 5,000. Right now we're at 1,380, I think. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Okay, so the next 2 finishes were back to back, and it was the Erica Arndt Truck of the Month series wall hangings. I love this series, and I plan on doing them all, but I found it in October. So I did the October, which I have a picture of, and I did the September, and I did them kind of back to back. I did October 1st, and then I did September. Also, I did November, so I'll post a picture of that too, all of it, all together. I did September, October, and November. I bought the December, but I have not done it. I want to get it done though, because I don't want to wait until next year to do it. But check out her YouTube channel. She's a huge YouTuber, so I'm sure y'all all know her. But also check out her website and get this Truck of the Month, because it is awesome. It's so cute. I haven't fully finished any of them. I've just been making the tops, but not really having time to finish them. So hopefully next year I'll fully finish them and hang them up during the month. But I just used fabrics I have from my stash, and they came out awesome. I love that series. I plan on doing it all. Also, at the end of October, we got the spooky box, or sometime in October we got the spooky box. Like I said, I rarely do the quilts that come in my boxes, even though I should be doing them. I had no plans on doing the quilt that came in the spooky box because I really had no plans on doing a Halloween quilt at all, but something just told me, you know what, let's go ahead and make it. So I decided to use the fabrics that came in the box. It was Moda fabrics, I believe. I think it was like a stacker. So I used those fabrics along with some purple that I had in my stash, and I kind of switched up the colors. Instead of doing a white background, I did the purple background, and then I did the ghosts and the pumpkins all in white and orange. It came out really nice. I did not fully finish it. I just finished the top. Yeah, and I ended up really liking it. So hopefully for next Halloween, I'll fully finish it. Okay, I completely skipped over the quilt that I made in September for my mom. I used a free pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. It was just one block. I think it was called Woodland. I don't remember. Once again, I'll put it on the screen when I find it. But it was a free block, and I think it was like a 20-inch block. It was a big block. I was planning on making a few of them for the entire quilt, but I did not enjoy doing that block. So I decided I'm just gonna, like, you know, do my own thing for the rest of the quilt and use that block for the center. So my mom's favorite color is pink. She's also a breast cancer survivor. So I decided, and her birthday is at the end of September, which is really close to October. So with breast cancer awareness and her favorite color being pink, I thought pink and white would be just the perfect color combination. So I did the center block in some pink solids that I had. I'm pretty sure they're Kona solids, but it's just stuff that I had in my stash. And I use a white fabric for the background. Now, let me tell you about the white that I used for the background. I was trying to use stuff that was in my stash and some scraps I had, and I made a super rookie mistake by not taking the fabric out into the sun and making sure that all of the whites were the same. So once I finished the whole quilt, I ended up taking it on a camping trip that we went on, and I wanted to take pictures out in the woods and make it real cute. And then when I look back at the pictures, the whites, some were like whiter than the other, brighter than the others, and it was a rookie mistake, but it is what it is. So that was that. The binding is where I use that Walmart glitter fabric. Horrible fabric, but I did use it in the binding because my mom loves like glittery, glitzy type things. So it's the only type of glittery fabric that I had. So I decided to bind it with that. The backing of the quilt was a white marble fabric. My mom loves marble print things, that white marble. She has a lot of it in her house. So when I saw that fabric, I was like, yes. I bought it, backed the whole quilt in it. It was a piece of 108. I love 108 for backing instead of piecing a backing. It's so quick and easy. But anyway, finished that and gave it to my mom. She loved it. I did not love that quilt so much, but she loved it, so that's all that matters. And I already have on my mind that I need to make her another quilt that I love more than that one. All right, so that was September. Apparently in November, I must have not finished much of anything. So we're up to December. I finished the Cricut Collection monthly cross stitch. So I finished December. It's the first Cricut Collection that I finished. I have so many of the monthly patterns from Cricut Collection that I've either started or just bought, and this is the first one that I finished, and I was so proud of it because December is a big one. So I finished it like right before Christmas. I did not fully finish it, but I finished stitching it, so I was really proud of that. And now we have come to the very last thing that I finished in December of 2022. The very last thing that I finished in 2022, period. And it is my dad's quilt. I just finished it over the holidays and sent it to him. It was supposed to be his birthday quilt. His birthday is at the beginning of December, but I didn't finish it, so it ended up being his Christmas gift. So this was a quilt that I made from a pattern called Wander More. The pattern maker, it is her very first pattern that she put out, and her name is K2 Quilts 2. Look for her on Instagram or on Etsy. And honestly, I was just looking. I knew I wanted to do a star quilt for him, but I didn't know what star quilt or what pattern, or if I should just do it, you know, without a pattern. So I was just scrolling through Instagram, and I came across this pattern. I was like, oh, perfect. It's classic. It's great. You can make it with more modern, with modern fabrics, or you can make it more classic. My dad is a very simple, classic type of person. So I thought, you know, I can easily use some masculine colors for him. So I did it black, gray, and green. I actually have fabrics in my stash that I was able to use that honestly, the green in this, I don't remember where I got this green, but I really never planned on using it. I didn't like it. So I was like, when would I ever use this green? But it ended up being perfect for this quilt. I love the way this quilt came out. I love, love, love it. I bought a 108 gray fabric with like black lines on it from Joann's for the backing. For the binding, I used that same green fabric that I thought I would never ever use. I did it all hand quilted. I just did echoing of the stars, and I hand binded it as usual. I put the little label on it that said, "For Dad, love Chris," because my name is Crystal and my family calls me Chris. And that was it. I love that quilt. It was a throw size. Most quilts that I do are throw size. That's my sweet spot, throw size, unless it's a baby quilt. I don't enjoy doing anything bigger. Like a 60 by 60 is perfect for me. But yeah, that was it. And that's everything that I have completed in the year 2022. It has been a great year for quilting, a great year for cross stitching. I discovered cross stitch last year, I think it was, and I got a lot done this year, and I'm really enjoying this YouTube channel and everything that we have built here. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. And hopefully for 2023, it just gets bigger. It gets better. We finish a whole lot more things. We make a whole lot more videos, and we build our little community here on Crystal Heart. So like I said before, y'all like this video. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe so we can see what we have in store for 2023. I love y'all. Thank y'all for being here all year long. Even if you've only been here for a little while, thank you. And I'll see you guys next year. Bye.